7.3, which is the levels of grant and aid funding, we have on the table an open motion, which is option 2, which is to increase the grant and aid funding by 5% from last year's budget. We also have a tabled motion from 7.2 that's also still sitting out there in the ether, waiting to be resolved. So that's where we're at, and we've had some discussion, and we will continue on that discussion. Also, I'd like to just the motion was made by Director Gisborne. We've heard from several directors, 3, I believe, that preferred option 1, and so I think that's where we're at right now. And I believe Director Elliott might have been next on the list, and I see Director Gisborne. So that's our current status. So go ahead, Director Elliott.
Thank you so much. So I was in favor of option 2, actually. I think when we're looking at the question of affordability, there are two ways to look at that. There is the idea that supporting nonprofits in our community that are stepping up to help make life affordable and livable in our community can use some support from us, and we get much leverage from the grants that we do in our community in helping out and benefiting the economy. Whereas if we increase money to direct services where we're 100% responsible for the costs of those, and we don't have the assistance of nonprofits and other folks helping us just with those services, that is a more unsustainable way to support our community. So, my thinking is when we're under stress, investing in our nonprofits gets us better leverage and further than increasing our own services, or um, may help us in um, keeping our own costs down. So I was in favor of an increase to grants and aid, and I liked option 2 because it limited the increase to 5% rather than 10. And I understand 10% over actuals is a little bit different for each of the areas, but I might be okay with 5% over actuals as well, but that wasn't one of the options. Thanks.
Thank you, Director Gisborne.
Thank you, Chair. Love the discussion that's gone around the table. I actually would like option 1. I thought folks would be in favor of option 3, so I thought maybe option 5 would kind of get me a little bit towards, a no increase. And I guess my first question, though, is for the corporate officer. If we wanted to do option 1, could we put forward an amendment to change option 2 to option 1, or do we need to vote this down and then move the other one separately?
Corporate officer, I believe it has to, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a substantial change, but I'll let the corporate officer answer.
Yeah. It's a different.
It's not the intent.
Yes, it's not the intent of the original motion, so I would suggest withdrawing or voting it down.
Okay, well, I've heard I just heard Director Elliott being in favor of option 5 rather than option 1, so I don't think we would get unanimous to
Option 2. I was in favor of the motion on the table.
Yeah. I was even getting ready to put forward some amendments to, okay, it's a 5% increase, but no change to Area A and no change to Area C, because as has been pointed out, we didn't even utilize the allocated funds for those areas. But if the Assembly is more interested in option 1, I'd be in favor of voting against this motion and going the other route.
Okay, so we still have option 2 on the table. Is there any further discussion on option 2 on the motion on the table? Seeing none, then I will call the question. All those in favor? I'm in favor as well. All those opposed? 5 opposed. That fails. I won't list everyone except for Director Elliott and Director Fall. Director Lennox.
Thanks, Chair. Make a motion for option 1.
Second.
Okay, option 1 seconded. So okay, we have option 1 on the table, which is carry on with what we did last year. Is there any discussion on that? We've talked a lot about this. I don't see any hands up, so I will call the question on option 1. All those in favor? Opposed? And the 1 opposed, Director Elliott, and carried. Okay, so that's the grant and aid. Now, okay, so we have our tabled item 7.2, and a corporate officer. Was that your hand?
That was Thank you, Chair. So this one, I understand that you just adopted option 1, which sets the budget for grant aid. So this motion may be out of order now.
Yeah, I think now
You've decided to set the budget at option 1.
right. So we just voted to set the budget at 96,000, so it's kind of out of order. Now, if any director wanted to change anything, it could be done as a separate motion, or it could be a next. We still have draft 3, so there will be, another opportunity to raise any change we would like. So if we're okay, are we okay to carry on? Seeing, okay, no complaints. That brings us to new business. No new business. We're at question period. Is Mr. Galinsky still with us after all this roller coaster?
He is after all this roller coaster. Thank you, Chair. I appreciate the opportunity. I don't have any questions to pose at this time. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And there's no in-camera session. We are adjourned.
That's Sandy. Excellent. Thank you, Chair.
Recording stopped.
45 minutes.